All right, we're here with another episode today, and today we're in Kensington Market. We're going to be taking a little bit of a different turn on this one, okay? We're going to be talking to women about feminism. Now, what is feminism exactly? Honestly, I don't really know. So we're going to put the definition up on the screen while I'm talking about feminism in the background while the definition is in front. So don't listen to what I'm saying, just read the definition that's in front of you right now. So, moving on. We're going to talk to people throughout the market, up and down the streets, to see who we can find and see if feminism really still exists in 2022. Do women still believe that everything should be 50-50? Do women believe that they want to be part of the military or plumbers or all these other jobs? Let's find out. All right, so I'm here with
Suzanne,
Lauren, Tasha,
and
Diane.
Okay, Diane, Tasha, I got a question for you. Would you guys consider yourself feminists?
No. Yes.
Definitely? Yes. So you believe in equality?
Is that what that means?
Yeah? Oh, you didn't know what it meant. Well, that's good. That's good.
I would.
Okay, so you believe in equality. Everything should be 50-50?
not necessarily like 50-50 for everything, but I think men and women and everything in between should be treated equally. But I think the 50-50 construct can be dangerous because then it gets into like, well, women should pay 50-50 for dates, and it's like, you know, it's more of just like the rights, and like in jobs, people should be like be awarded the same opportunities and the same paycheck despite your gender.
Right. Do you believe that women should make up 50% of our military?
I don't know. Why?
Like, I feel like, yes, I want equal opportunity, but being a feminist.
Wait a minute.
Tasha, I got a question for you. Would you guys consider yourself feminists?
No.
Well,
is that an issue right now?
Well, I believe feminism to me means that you want equality amongst all jobs, as far as women have equal opportunities, equal pay, and all that other things. Is that how you would define feminism as well?
But is numbers an indicator of equality?
I feel like we need to be very specific on what that definition is.
Right. Well, when you're looking for equality, then what is it that you're looking for when you say, because you do believe you want equality for women, so how would you define it then?
I just think that there's a lot of institutions and systems in place that undermine the ability for women to achieve the same things as men. So it's not necessarily numbers, and maybe just systems and narratives that we're talking about. Right.
A lot of systematic things put in place to hold women back. Okay. With select jobs, do you think, when it comes towards women, or do you think that should be with all jobs? Like, do you think women should make up 50% of our military, for example?
Like if they want to, I think there should just be nothing prohibiting them from joining. Like, I think that jobs should just not, like, I feel like I'm not articulating myself very well, but I think there should be no like standards of like, okay, we have to have this many. I think they should just be awarded the same opportunities. So like, if you're applying just because you're a man, you're not going to get it over someone who's more qualified just because they're a woman, and you know what I mean?
Right.
So what would be your definition of feminism then? Since you're the feminist, what is your definition?
Oh, Jesus. Definitely equal opportunity for women, equal pay, that's a big one. Mm-hmm. Recognition of our skills inside and outside of the home, and that being valued equally to the work that men do outside of the home.
So let me ask you a question, just kind of play devil's advocate here, okay, for a second. What would you say if I thought it was actually easier for women, because there's actually grants, tax benefits, and all kinds of things that are provided just to women in order for them to, in educational fields, in business fields as well. So what would you say if I said it's actually easier for women because of those things?
See, I had a debate about this with someone in my class because he was saying that women, there's a lot of systems in place that support women that don't help men. For example, if a woman is pulled over for a parking ticket and she gets away with it because she's pretty, that's a type of privilege for her.
I would say easier in comparison to men, or easier than back then?
Easier in comparison to men, because if we're talking about jobs, there are jobs that do still hold quotas. Like we want diversity, so we're going to have a certain amount of women. That forces them, unfortunately, to hire some people who are going to be less qualified. That's just a statement that's true, right? So in that, women can get easier jobs. There are also tax benefits that are provided by the government, as well as grants strictly for women as far as building businesses and all those other things. So do you think, when I say to make the statement that I think it's easier for women, do you agree or do you disagree based on those facts?
I disagree.
I disagree. And I understand where he's coming from, but also that just, where is that coming from? That type of behavior is coming from an objectification and sexualization of that woman.
Right.
And the grants that are put in place come from a history of deterrence in not encouraging women to pursue academic and professional goals. So I think those things are there in place for a reason.
Right.
I'm a history student. So
Okay,
I'm like
perfect.
Stuff,
Oh,
yeah.
wonderful. Where are you studying?
I'm at Concordia in Montreal.
Oh, sick. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
You're in Montreal. What are you doing all the way down
I'm
here?
here for a concert.
Oh, okay, sick. Okay, how are you liking it so far?
It's interesting. I don't know where I am at all right now. This isn't what I'm.
I think it's just as hard for a woman to start a business in any industry. For example, let's say the entertainment industry. A lot of women don't really go and start that industry to be, let's say, producers, for example. Right. You know, so for a woman in that industry to show her talent and try to, you know, branch out in that type of industry where it's more male dominant, it is difficult. You know, it is a very difficult industry. I could just speak, I can say that for personal experience. But again, I think that it's not as easy as people may think.
What do you think?
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think that there's more opportunity, there's more support for women, but that doesn't mean that it's easier for women.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it's good for women, but overall, I think that the quota thing can be pretty dangerous because it's just very much labeling you as your sexuality or your sex or your race and stuff like that. So I think it's kind of a headspace that we kind of have to step back from and be just because I think it's inherently racist or sexist people who are looking out for, sorry, I feel I'm really getting lost in my mind.
You're answering really well. No. So when you say that you want equality in the workplace and everything, does that mean all workplaces? Do you think women should make up 50% of our military, for example?
I don't know.
Oh, you're
I
doing
just
really
feel
well.
it's kind of one of those things where if you're looking for those select people, then it's they're still being identified as specifically just that sexuality or just that race and stuff like that. When
right.
You have to kind of take a step deeper and be okay, why am I typically going towards men, or why am I typically going towards white men instead of other?
So you're saying
candidates?
there's other things that should be taken into account other than just that's a woman, that's a man, that's this person, that's that person. Is pretty much what you're saying.
I think the quotas are great, but it has to be a lot deeper than just that.
Right.
If that's what they want to do, if women want to be there, I think that there shouldn't be a barrier to entry if that's what women want to do.
Mm-hmm. Would you feel safe if our army had 50% women versus 50% men? Honestly?
I personally think that it depends on your skill set and your training. So it doesn't matter if you're a woman or a man, or if you don't even identify between the two. If you have the right strength, the qualities, and the skill set to lead our country during times that, unforeseen times, or want to be a member of our of the army, let's say, because there's some men that could be out there that probably may not be as fit as some women, right? So I think that it really depends on your physique and your skill set.
How about you, Diane? Would you feel safe if 50% of our army was women?
Yeah, I would feel just as safe as if they were all men. I'm biased. I'd say I feel safer.
So, do you believe that in 2022, women are literally still fighting? There's no job that a woman can attain that a man has right now? Do you believe that?
No job that a woman... well, there's still no prime minister and still no president. I mean, yes, I think it's an issue. Even just I'm a photographer too, and there's a lot of systemic stuff. I think that the way women photographers are treated compared to men, sometimes we're not given the same opportunities because there's an idea that men are more tech savvy or that they know what they're doing more. And I hear a lot of stories about men taking advantage of that position that they're in. So a lot of female models feel they have pressure to participate in things that they don't want to do.
That's true.
So I think that there are a lot of things women are not able to climb the ladder in the same way as men.
I feel sometimes there's a discrimination between women being selective as to which jobs they should get higher pay in, because I don't really feel a lot of women would want to be plumbers or work in a sewage system, for example, or, you know, other jobs like that. What do you think?
I think there's a difference between want and like the ability to do the job.
Right.
If they don't want to do it, they don't want to do it. But if they did want to do it, they would do just as good of a job as a man.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, speaking of like choosing things that they want to do and they don't want to do, there's another argument that goes along those lines where it's just that women are not necessarily not getting paid as much as they're selecting jobs that pay less. Like an example that I used was in the medical field, for example, right? A lot of women will tend to be towards the pediatric or psychiatrist. Well, men will do surgeons and radiologists, and obviously we understand why they get paid different. So do you think it's really a barrier for women, or is it just like a choice that women are making in the jobs that they're choosing, or once again, is that systemic?
There's the question of, is it innate or learned? And I think it's learned that women are taught not to do those things because we're taught not to talk and take like big steps like that.
Right.
Like I know you're talking about like there's also like the issue of STEM research and stuff. Women are not as involved in like cell research and stuff because they're told not to take that type of field. That's
Right.
why we tend to go towards nurturing types of jobs, which I don't think is right necessarily. And yeah, I think it's like it goes back to like childhood, it goes back to the systems in place, it goes back to the institutions, the schools, what they're taught. So I think all those things, maybe women are choosing less paying jobs, but maybe we should look at the reasons that they're doing that and not blame the women for doing that.
I think both. I think it's so when you say equal pay, it's not just a blanket statement like you do a job, they do B job, and both jobs should get the same pay.
Right,
no,
right, right.
obviously you're paying for skill, you're paying for experience.
Right.
So if a woman was to do a job and a man was to do a job, they should get paid the same.
I agree with that statement.
In 2022, do you honestly believe that there are jobs that women are still fighting to get that they can't get?
I definitely do think that. I can't think of an example off the top of my head because I'm not really in a lot of those fields,
Right.
but I think it's also just women earning like the validation and professional respect at those jobs that they might not be taken as seriously as like their male counterparts
Right.
because they're women and some of their opinions might be viewed as like emotional or like whatever the case is, but yeah.
Yeah, and I will just add that yes, women tend to maybe move towards typical women-held jobs,
Right.
but that's systematic as well. It's just historically in the past, it's just been easier for women to get those jobs versus like the surgeon or like the typically
Right.
men-held jobs. I think it's changing, but definitely there's still remnants of that systematic, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
I expect it, honestly.
Kensington Market is honestly one of the most eclectic areas that we have. All types of different restaurants and places you can
It's
go.
different. We
It's
don't
all
have that.
right. This
In
is sick,
Montreal,
right?
Yeah, it's not a thing in Montreal.
You defined feminism for me, so that's all I really had. I appreciate it. Two very intelligent women. Clearly, this is a conversation that involved brains, intelligence, intellect.
I don't have the right words, but I will always try to fight for feminism where I can because it's very important. I think everyone should be feminist regardless of your gender.
Hey, there you go. Hey, anything that I say after that is gonna be a kick in the ass for me. So I'm just gonna leave it at that one right there. Okay. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Kind of conversations.
No
They're
worries.
Really great. Thank
All
you
right.
for including me.
Of course, this is what it's all about. All right, I like it. Very good answers. Thank you so much for your time, Suzanne. I appreciate it. All right, that's it for the episode, man. So what have we learned? Well,
I mean, I don't mind, but what's the question? Like,
so the question is, do you believe that feminism still exists in 2022? Like, do you believe that there's no equality for women still?
I'm not a female, right? you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What should I base my opinion on upon things I see on, on videos
Right.
from my household? Yeah, I think, yeah, my mom is treated equally. She's our princess. You know what I mean?
Right.
Come from a Mexican background, so I 100% believe that. I mean, outside the house, it's hard to tell, right, homie? I don't live in their shoes, or
Right.
like say if I base opinions upon what I see, what I hear. My experience, I share my mom looks at, I have a daughter, 10-year-old, queen of the house.
Right.
She gets everything.
Right.
After anything, I'm used to provider, you know what I mean?
Right. Thank you so much, bro. I appreciate it. Thank
Shout
you.
out to the Big Six, man. They come out this for the city, homie.
You already know, man. You already know.
Mexican love to the city, homie. I'll show you, how to get down.
And so what have we learned? Well, we've learned that feminism still exists in 2022. The only difference is it has a different definition for a lot of different people. Are there still jobs that women feel like they can't get? Yeah, there are still jobs. How do I feel? I'll be real with you. I feel like there are certain jobs that men are always going to be dominant in, and there's certain jobs that women are always going to be dominant in. It's just the world that we live in. And based on the answers that we got today, we can see that there might be some change coming. But until that day, I love women. And hey, girls want girls. Girls love girls where I'm from.